In the context of translating this value into solutions, we basically are providing them with the different type of goods and services, which basically translates into effective marketing. So, how do we analyze a value? You must have heard of a term called customer relationship management. Now, customer relationship management is when we actually translate this transaction into a value transaction, and this value transaction translates into a relationship management, which exactly is sustained and maintained over a period of time by the different type of marketing interventions that we do. And that basically is the essence of a holistic marketing, which happens to be one of the important uh, aspects of the new marketing philosophy per se. So I would be starting with a small Indian case slate. This is all about the product, which exactly is there in our homes. And this started with a brand. You all must be well aware with, it is called as Eureka Foams. So we would be talking about how exactly Eureka Foam has used uh, its value creation among its consumer durable segment of the offer, and how exactly it has been very, very successful in launching multiple stream of products in that same context in home care. So the case study follows. Please listen to it very carefully. When Eureka Forbes introduced vacuum cleaners for the first time in the Indian market, that was about 4 decades ago, it had to communicate a new concept and develop the market. So earlier, what used to happen was that home cleaning was done by the regular conventional way, by using broom and mopping. That was exactly the way how Indian conventional home cleaning was done. But then Eureka Forbes decided to bring in a new type of a concept for the first time, and also to develop a market. That is, uh, they decided to come up with a product called as vacuum cleaners, which exactly was going to transform the market as well as create a new type of a value for this entire solution. So the marketing task were to educate potential consumers about the product and its benefits and to persuade them to buy the product. This happened to be the marketing task. That is, whoever happened to be a potential customer, they were supposed to be uh, educated and then persuaded to buy the product. Now, how did they go about doing this? For this purpose, Eureka Forbes chose the direct marketing route. That was demonstrate and sell the Euro Clean vacuum cleaners through door-to-door salesmen, designated as Euro champs. Now, they were designated, these salespeople were designated as Euro champs, who basically went door to door trying to demonstrate the product and persuade the people into understanding the new concept and buy the product. The most important element in the success of this pioneering approach was a positive word of mouth publicity from satisfied customer and referral sales that it generated. So they decided to do something which is called as snowballing. Now, this snowballing was basically called as reference sale. That is, you exactly come to a person who's Mr. A, and you go to their home, do the demonstration, and once Mr. A is satisfied, he would give the names of 3 of his friends. So they go to the 3 of his friends, giving the reference of Mr. A satisfied customer with this sort of a demonstration. And B, C, and D were approached as referrals from A. Now, B would give uh, another E, F, G, C would give I, J, K, and D would give L, M, N. So effectively, you must understand that this is sort of a reaction, which exactly is a snowballing reaction for the referral approach. So basically, when people are going with a referral approach, they are taking the goodwill of the people who exactly are referring. And they would say, okay, if Mr. A was satisfied, then B, C, and D, who happen to know Mr. A, would understand that if A was convinced, let me also try this sort of a product per se, and that would have an easier access to making them aware about this new type of a concept. And generally, this was the mechanism of a snowball approach, which was used by Euroclean in order to develop their market base. Now, the company achieved this by developing a relationship with its customers and their families through a well-trained salesperson. A month after the sales, the company's salesperson revisited the customers to re-emphasize the correct usage of product and the accessories and to ensure that they were satisfied. Now, they did not stop only at informing or educating the customers, but rather they had a repeat visit after a month to create a sort of a connect with the customers, telling them how to correctly use the product and its accessories, and to also get a feedback whether they were satisfied or not. This practice, termed as the gift of a smile, they called it as the gift of a smile by the company, helped immensely in creating customer confidence and trust, generating further referrals and sales leads. So if there was a satisfied customer, you would give further leads about more referrals, and that would create better prospects about opening up to a newer market. Now, response time, reach, and retention are built in as a part of the key result areas of the leaders of service team, and this motivates the team to strive for improvement constantly. Now, superior customer experience with the brand and the company is ensured through intensive training and retraining, performance evaluation of people, and frequent measurement of customer feedback. So there goes a long element into how to train the workforce in order to generate a sort of a goodwill and demonstrate the value that the company stands for and the brand that the company stands for. And this basically was translated into the sales pitch of the offer of this sort of a product. Now, the commitment of building a long-term relationship with customers helped the company succeed when it introduced AquaGuard. Now, you see, when they came up with another type of a product line that was in water purifier, that is AquaGuard, basically Clean, that is the Eureka folks, their brand name or the parent brand name basically had a lot of impact because of the goodwill that they had already generated with an earlier product launch that is called the Euroclean. So effectively, it came in handy when they came up with another sort of a product called the the AquaGuard, which happened to be a water purifier. Now, the first electric water purifier in India. Now, Eureka Forbes has won several national and international awards for the best practice in different areas. The company now reaches over 8 million families in India, and the figure is actually growing. But this was a small case study in order to explain to you how basically value is translated and transmitted to the prospective segment, and then the solution is offered in terms of the product per se or the service per se. So we intend to be looking at customer value analysis in this session, but we'll continue with this session into two important aspects. So effectively, what exactly is this sort of a context? Let us try to look into it. So before we identify the value, we would be looking at a few important things. Like, for example, what exactly is the traditional organizational chart? Now, generally, when you look at a traditional organizational chart, we have the top management at the top, and it's just like a pyramid. It's like a standing pyramid where basically the top management is at the top, followed by the middle management, and followed by the frontline people or the people who are connecting with the consumers or the customers per se. And then we have the customers. The customers happen to be at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, this was the basic concept of a traditional organizational chart. But the problem here is that the customer is at the base of the pyramid. Maybe the customer is very, very large. That is why they decided to keep the pyramid stable, and they have got the top management. So technically, the philosophy or everything is flowing, the communication, the products, the ideas, everything, or the offers, everything is flowing from the top to the bottom. Okay, so basically they feel that this happened to be the traditional organizational structure. But the moment you decide to keep customer at the center of the entire activity, you have to invert this pyramid. So the modern customer oriented organizational chart is actually just the other way around. It's an inverted pyramid where basically you see customer is not only at the top, but he's at all the places. Rather, he surrounds the pyramid. So you have the customer at the top, the customer, you've seen these two orange lines, which exactly are presented over here. Basically, they also are customers. So customer is enveloping the entire organization. And that basically is how it is there. So it is the entire customer who basically surround the organization. And then most important aspect at the top is the people who are connecting with the customers. That is the sales force or the sales team or the marketing organization department, which is in contact with the customers, because the organization exists because the customer exists. If the customer is not there, then there is no entity, there's no organization per se. So effectively, it is the customer that is the reason for the organization to exist, and that exactly is it's given its prime importance. And that's the reason for the role reversal of the entire aspect, because the customer is the profit center. That is from where the profit is coming. So you have the customer giving the feedback to the different type of resource agents, and these resource agents are transmitting this information back to the middle management, which exactly is transmitting it to the top management, which is taking customer centric decisions on the basis of the offering that exactly it is giving to the customers in terms of its value, satisfaction, and loyalty. Because a loyal customer and a customer value translation actually brings in a lot of benefits to the organization. Now, for example, if you look at a company called as Dell. Now, Dell road to success by offering low-priced computers, logistical efficiency, and after-sales services. The firm's maniacal focus on low cost has been the key ingredient in its success. When the company shifted its customer call centers to India and Philippines to cut costs, however, understaffing frequently led to 30 minutes wait for the customers. So, in order to cut costs, they transferred their call centers back to India and Philippines, and that resulted in a block, a sort of a bottleneck in the customer connect, because the customers had to wait in order to connect with their call. Now, almost half the calls required at least one transfer. So you see, when you have got a long waiting time, there's a transfer that happens to the calls because it's a hunting process. Now, to discourage customer calls, Dell even removed its Thank you. Thank you. Uh, uh, Dell even removed its toll-free service number from its website, and with customer satisfaction slipping, the competitors matching its product quality and prices and offering improved services. So effectively, Dell decided that since customer connect was actually a problem that exactly was there, so they decided to remove its toll-free service from its website. And with customer service satisfaction slipping, the competitors, they matched its product quality and offered improved services. Now, when basically competitors, when customers were not satisfied with this sort of a brand, then competitors actually jumped into the vacuum that was created by this sort of a brand. Now, Dell's market share and stock prices both, they started declining sharply, and Dell ended up hiring North American call center employees. So they decided to understand that the root cause of customer dissatisfaction disconnect was that employees were not connecting to the customers per se, and customers were being left out, and that exactly was the reason why they decided to have a relocation of their call centers, and they started hiring up North American call center employees. The team was managing cost instead of managing service quality. Now, this was confessed by Michael Dell. So effectively, this sort of a cost cutting did create a lot of problem, because customer perceived value was that the company was not trying to connect with them. company was trying to shy away from their services and their commitment. Now that created a lot of resentment and a lot of antitrust perspective within the customers, and that led to the aspect of dropping of the share prices, the market share, and losing it to other brands which exactly were there. So effectively, this is an important sort of an orientation to learn that how organizational structure plays an important role into connecting with the offering that exactly you have to actually give to your customers per se. Now, coming back to something which is called as customer perceived value. Now, there's a difference between perception and reality. It's a very serious debate that what exactly is a perception and what's exactly a reality. Now, perception, according to me, might be different for anything than for the rest of you. It could be related to a brand, it could be related to a product, it could be related to anything. But technically, we exactly have different type of perception about different things. Now, this perception per se happens to be a component of different attributes. Experience happens to be one of them. Our association happens to be another important aspect. Our now, it's a very important aspect to understand that, let's say, for example, this is your perception, okay, and this is your expectation. This is my expectation and this is my perception. Now, if my perception is very high, the expectation remains here. My perception and that is, I perceive that something is very good, and I have a very high expectation of it, and the return that I'm getting from it is not very high, then I'm dissatisfied. The moment I bridge up, you see, the perception remains here or my expectation remains here, and this basically matches it. So I'm neither satisfied nor dissatisfied. Now, if the offering actually goes above my expectation and perception, then I'm super satisfied. So again, the type of perception that different people have different level of perceptions for the different type of products and services. Now that gives them either satisfaction, dissatisfaction, or no satisfaction, neither satisfied nor dissatisfied. And basically the type of association that you have with different type of experience of the different type of products and services gives us rise to this sort of a value, that whether you're satisfied or whether you are not satisfied. So the difference between prospective evaluation of all the benefits and the offer and the perceived alternative happens to be customer perceived value. That is the total benefits and the total customer cost. So whatever is the total cost that you have invested and what is the total benefit. Now, cost and benefit is going to be the difference between the cost and benefit is going to make your satisfaction, that whether you have a value for that product, or when your cost and benefit are equal, you have no value. When your cost is higher than your benefit, you have no value. And when your benefit is higher than the cost that you have invested, you exactly have a very high value for the product. Again, as I said, this exactly is different, and the organizations, they strive in order to tell you that you are getting a higher benefit and at a lower cost, so that the product actually translates real value for all of you. So this exactly is applying the value concept per se. Now, I shall be talking about something called as different elements which exactly go into it. So effectively, one of them is the image. What is the image that exactly is there in your mind? That plays a very important role. Let's say, for example, we have got the image of a product, a brand. Let's say a brand like um, I'll take from the auto industry because I happen to have a good amount of exposure into that area. So let's say, for example, if you're taking BMW or Mercedes. Okay, so the image that you have in mind about a BMW or a Mercedes car is going to be higher than, let's say, a brand like Just hold on. Hello. Yes, there was a slight temporary disconnect because of some sort of a drop in signal, I think. Uh, am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Need a voice
Yes,
confirmation?
sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
You
sir.
see the
Yes,
slide?
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. We can see
Yes,
the
sir.
slide.
Visible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for that voice confirmation. We'll resume. So you see, there basically happens to be a image benefit. So this image has developed over a period of time. It is not like maybe even if you don't using that product, if you're not using that product, then also you have a image for that product per se. So image benefit plays a very important role towards the perception of customer perceived value. Then the next amount important aspect is the personnel benefit. Now, when I'm talking about personnel benefit, uh, how easily are you accessible to the uh, people who are associated with that brand? That's a very important aspect. So let's say, for example, if you are not connected with that sort of a product, if you're not associated with that sort of a product, you exactly this sort of a benefit is missing. Then service benefit. Let's say, for example, if you own a car, which exactly is providing you the personnel benefit, the service benefit, the product benefit, and customer benefit. Then this is in the context of the benefits that you're getting. Then there is something which exactly is called as the cost. So now let us look at the different components of the cost. We exactly try to compare the two of them and try to see which of them is more. If the cost is more, then there is low perceived benefit. If the cost equals to the customer benefit, then there's no customer perceived value. But if the benefit is much more than the cost, then of course there is a customer perceived value. Now, this is again, I must say, it's a perception, it's not a reality. So maybe आपके लिए वो value होगा, but probably not for the next person, because he or she might have a higher cost in compared of the benefit that he or she is receiving. So effectively, we have to look into this, and that's why it's not called a just customer value, but customer perceived value. Now, here, basically, we've got the psychological cost. Now, there are the different type of costs that exactly are associated with a different type of a product. One of them is, let's say, for example, if you get anxiety, if you're anxious about the product, if you are anxious that you're going to lose your money, and if you're anxious about how much time it is going to take for you to own that product, or the cost of search that is associated, all of them translate into something which is called the psychological cost of consumer. Then there is the energy cost. That is what exactly is the cost of utility. That is, in simple terms, I must say, in terms of a car, what exactly is the economic value of that product? Like what exactly is the economic value of running that product in terms of its lifetime cost, in terms of its utility cost, in terms of its usage cost, in terms of its cost per kilometer, and so on and so forth. So you try to look into the different type of energy cost. Then you look at the time cost. That is the different type of benefits you're getting at different type of times. How many warranties you're getting, how many free benefits you're getting, what exactly is the time that is taking for it to get serviced, what exactly is the type of benefits you're getting to resolve a problem. Let's say, for example, if you want to go for an insurance claim, how much time is taking. So all these things actually go into, or the time you take to actually own the product. All these things are translating into time cost. Then there's something called as money cost. Monetary cost is again, let's say, for example, the same amount of investment that you're doing for this sort of a product and service. Let's say if you've got an alternative competitor and you like to invest it, what exactly is the benefits? Or let's say, for example, if you'd like to invest this sort of a money for some other option, what exactly is the benefit that you're going to accrue from there? So effectively, all the amount of investment that you have done, whether it has appreciated or depreciated over a period of time. What exactly is the amount of monetary terms that you're going to get if you're trying to do away with the product, and what exactly is going to be the salvage cost of the product? So effectively, all these things are also in the context of the monetary cost, and then that all adds up into giving you a total customer cost. So you've got value on one side, and you've got a benefit on one side, and you've got cost on the other side, and you try to compare the two. And it's not actually all quantitative assessment, but it's a qualitative assessment also. Many things go into qualitative assessment, and that basically gives a perception about a product per se. So we cannot discuss, or I cannot debate with somebody that मेरे लिए तो ये value है, आपके लिए भी यही value होना चाहिए. I cannot do that, because all these things are very, very personal. The benefits that I'm getting, the experience that I'm getting, the personal benefit, the image that I have, or the different psychological costs, the energy, the true time cost, the monetary cost. This is different for different people. So that exactly is how. Now, I'll give you a small caselet at this point of time about a company which is called as the Tata Steel. They undertook a major strategic initiative to achieve the objective of providing superior value to its key customers through an initiative called as Customer Value Management. Now, customers for this initiative were chosen using multiple criteria, such as the scope for Tata Steel to provide superior value to the customers volume of take of steel, future business potential, professionalism, technological adaptability, willingness to take a long-term perspective of their business, reciprocal cultural fit, and overall learning opportunities. Now, these were some of the CSFs, that is critical success factors, they kept into mind in order to look into the total value that basically a customer has. Now, you must understand over here that we are basically qualifying customers on the basis of B2B, B2C, and B2G. That is business to business. That is this business products, business to customer, B2C, and then B2G. B2G is government, because I talked about the different type of markets, if you understand, in our earlier interaction, wherein I said that basically we've got the government as a market, we've got consumer as a market, and we've got business as a market. So effectively, first they qualified the consumers into the different segments, and then they tried to find out the critical success factors for their product. Now, you must understand that steel is a organizational product. To spearhead the initiative, Tata Steel set up a cross-functional team led by customer account manager. Now, the joint team of the company and the customer was formed to take the initiative further. For each chosen customer, a joint team comprising of a Tata representative and a customer representative was set up. Now, what this team actually did was that they had different components of the customer and the organizational perspective all in the entire team. So basically, what they decided to do was they scrutinized important activities in the customer's value chain. So they decided to see what all actually goes inside the customer value chain, and what exactly are some of the important activities that the customer does with this sort of a product per se. That is, the team scrutinized value activities, that is how the steel is received by the customer, how steel is stored and deployed, and where it gets rejected. So when the customer has actually ordered this sort of a product, where does it receive the goods? Because how you use the goods also depends on the quality of the benefits that you're getting. Let's say, for example, if you're using a product properly, as per the instructions that exactly is given towards the utility of the goods and the products and the services, then it's going to perform its optimal, and you're going to get all the value. But let's say because of ignorance or because of mishandling, if you are not able to take care of the goods properly or use it as it is directed, then probably the chances are that you might end up not getting the value, and then it will translate that you will feel that you have not been given the benefits for the cost that you have invested, and that is going to give you a wrong perception. So first they tried to see was the customer value chain, that is how do you receive the goods, where do you store it, how do you use it, and how does it get rejected.
It also looked into various problems that the customers are facing with Tata Steel. That is, what exactly are some different type of problems that the customers are actually facing, including technical, commercial, performance indices, ideas for improvement were then generated through brainstorming workshops, and these ideas were evaluated for feasibility and impact. That is, were they feasible and what exactly is the size of the impact they're going to create. The shortlisted ideas were classified into three categories, namely, these ideas could be taken up for immediate implementation without incurring significant cost. Now, there are certain ideas which exactly can just come up, which can be incorporated without investing in any sort of an additional cost. Or there are certain things which require operational improvement, because probably in the value chain, if there's some amount of improvement that could be done, that can translate into a better options, which exactly is an output of the brainstorming session. And it would require some time and a small amount of major investment that may be required, but yet would yield significant value. And the ideas that would require significant sustained collaboration or a long-term implementation time frame. So the ideas basically that came up, which needed to be incorporated to impact the value for the customer, were segregated into three formats. One is it could be brought about immediately without major significant changes, some requiring a minor amount of intervention, and third, requiring a major structural reformation. So effectively, the customer value initiative management initiated results in several mutual benefits. So there were mutually beneficial results, because one of the benefits for the organization was that it's going to get a superior customer perceived value, and for the customers, because their problems were resolved and they are going to get value in terms of the goods that they're basically purchasing for, and they're going to get a higher type of a benefit for the cost that they have invested. Some of these included ways to increase the yield per ton of steel by supplying steel of exact specification, resulting in reduction of scrap generated, better methods for handling scrap, development of new products and new grades of steel, integration of information technology between both the parties. For example, one customer was able to reduce the wastage of steel due to trimming by 10 to 15% by releasing two purchase orders. So rather than one purchase order, they decided to create two purchase orders, and 10 to 15% reduction happened in terms of its price in terms of trimming. One for steel and with close tolerance, and other with loose tolerance. This is basically an industrial product, so basically that goes with the industrial specifications of the products per se. You can understand two specific variants, two types of variants for the product. In another instance, a construction company was supplied or formed steel rods in completely knocked down kits in just in time mode for steel structures in large construction projects. Sheenam, can you please mute your microphone? We would request you to please mute your microphone. Thank you. Basically, what we want to interject at this point of time is that we've got different type of product delivery mechanism. One is called as a CKD. CKD is completely knocked down. That is, let's say, for example, if you're selling automobiles, like if you're selling a truck, okay? If you want to ship a truck, so basically one way is that you make the entire truck, you put it on the ship, and then the ship goes. So if you want to look at the amount of volumes that you can actually send, would be probably, let's say, 100 trucks that you can load on that ship. But if I do a CKD, that is, if I knock it down, so basically I will have not 100, but I can send something like 500 trucks. That is, I can pack in all the engines of all the trucks in one container. All the chassis of the trucks, of all the 500 trucks can be, because it's going to take less amount of space, because there are two components in shipping, which exactly is weight as well as volume. So if it's going in as a complete vehicle, it is going to take a lot of volume. Okay.
The weight may be less, but the volume is more. And volume also is an important integral aspect when you're coming into logistics. We'll look into it when you're going to be studying about logistic management and supply chain. But basically, I'm giving an idea of what a CKD and a non-CKD aspect is all about. So if you want to put in the wheels, you can pack in 500 wheels in one carton, in one container. So effectively, you'll have got these different containers which can be optimizing the space requirement for the product. So if you're putting that same shipment of 100 trucks can be 500 trucks can be shipped by the same ship, which can actually accommodate 100 trucks. So effectively, you are increasing the efficiency 5 times, isn't it? So effectively, this is one important aspect which also came into when they decided to look into this customer value, and that basically brought in the benefits for the customer in terms of reduced cost. Also, this helped the customer save cost as well as solve other problems associated with employing a large labor pool at its construction site. These ideas have resulted in significant cost saving across the value chain of operators. Monetary cost saving achieved through these efforts were apportioned between customers and company in some agreed form of upon proportions. And another important benefit of customer value management initiative was the shifting of focus of discussions with the customer from price negotiation to exploring various ways of enhancing value, resulting in stronger customer relations. So effectively, a customer, when he or she is invited into the entire delivery process, then the organization understands that basically how do I translate more value for the customer, and the customer also understands that how a better sort of a value proposition can be extracted from the organization, and they do not go into things like the price is more, please cut the price, give me discounts, and so on and so forth. So effectively, it is a more involved. So as I said, when you're designing a product around a customer, that has a better sort of a reach. And definitely it is going to, when a customer is involved in the entire sort of a product co-creation process, that basically increases customer perceived value. So my idea of explaining this sort of this flow chart by this case study was that this exactly is an important attribute when it comes down to customer perceived value. So I will be going down to the next one, that is, what is customer value analysis? So before we wanted to actually come down to this topic, I wanted to give you a brief preview of what exactly is a value management system and how exactly perceived customer value plays an important role into understanding what is a customer value analysis. Because customer value analysis happens to be a very important component which has to come into play, because as a marketer, you need to understand what exactly is the customer really going to go for. Because, you know, today product differentiation is not there. Every product is nearly the same. But what differs is the point of differences, which exactly is value translation. So so let us look into how exactly we go about it. So the first important aspect, step number 1, is identify the major attributes and benefits that customers value. What are the major attributes and benefits which a customer actually values? Second is the quantitative importance of the different attributes and values. So let's say, for example, whether the quantitative importance is more or less of a specified value is also very, very vital. If the quantitative importance is less, then I'm going to prioritize it at a different level. But if it's a more, then I'm going to definitely put it at a different level. And then assessing the companies and competitors' performance on different customer values, again, they're rated important. So, you know, we are not working in isolation. It's not a monopolistic market, but rather it's a perfect market, a perfect competition market, perfect market. A perfect market has certain type of characteristics where basically there are many players, customer is well informed, and then there is a lot of competition, and the prices are not governed by the producer, but rather governed by the market forces per se. So effectively, you have to also analyze competitors' significance, their performance, and customer value against their rated importance. So you have a rated importance, your competitor has a rated importance, and the customer has a right to value both of them and rate them. So you need to look at a perspective from the customer's orientation as to how they have rated your value as well as your competitor's value. Now, you also have to examine how customers in the specific segment rate the company's performance in a specific major competitor on the individual attribute or a benefit basis. Let's say, for example, if I'm looking at any sort of a brand, let us say I'm looking at a brand which exactly is going to give me a specified value, and then I'm going to look at a different type of a product. Let's say, for example, um, I'm looking at a brand which exactly is related. Um, I'm looking at I'll again come back to the automobile industry because I have got a lot of association with that industry. I did a lot of my initial my job with a different automobile industry, and I was associated with them in terms of the different type of brands like with Maruti Udyog, with Hyundai Motors India Limited, with the Tata Motors, and so on and so forth. So I'll give you, let's say, for example, we've got the B segment cars, where basically one of them, the cost of ownership of a specific type of a brand, let's say Maruti, if you're going to take, what is the cost of ownership in terms of the benefits that exactly, and Hyundai Motors. Okay, like if you want to compare two of them, or let's say, for example, if you want to compare Tata Motors, the same type of car, that is exactly the three box variant, which exactly is there, the economy family car. So you try to compare how exactly the three of them, a customer tries to compare in its perception as to how exactly the three of them are rated in terms of mileage, in terms of benefits, in terms of the cost of ownership, in terms of longevity, in terms of its salvage value. That is, when you want to sell the car, what exactly, which has the highest saleable price, and also the different type of features that the car has. That is, if you have got more feature per car, that basically translates a higher customer value. And then there are certain core features, then there are certain augmented features, and then there are certain peripheral features. So core features are there for certain segment of a customer. Let's say, for example, there's a taxi driver, he is purchasing a car. So there will be different core features for him. But then there's a small family which is purchasing a car. There will be a different set of features for them. But then let's say, for example, if there are a certain type of people who are purchasing a car for fleet owners, there's going to be a different type of a feature, isn't it? So effectively, we need to be looking at the different type of specific segment, how different customer segment they rate the company's performance against a specific major competitor or an individual attribute or a benefit basis. So a cab owner might be looking at value for money in terms of the mileage that the car gives, or the service life, that is how much the car is there on the road. As long as the car is there on the road, it is giving him benefits. What exactly is the total amount of benefits that it's going to get in terms of free warranty and guarantee, because it's going to be driving its car very much on the road, and there's going to be, the car is going to be mostly there on the road because it's going to be a car rental basis. And let's say, for example, if he has a tie-up with a brand like we have Uber or Ola or things of that sort, so definitely the car is 24/7 on the road. So definitely he has a different type of an orientation vis-a-vis a small owner, a small family which has purchased a car only for outings. That is they would go out on weekends or on vacations, use a car to ferry the family to the different type of locations. So their utility is less. So they would be looking at more amount of comfort. Plus, then there is somebody who's purchased a car. This family would also be looking for certain type of safety features in the car, like how many is it having these different type of uh, safety, like ABS is there, anti-braking system is there, then EBD is there, then you have got these airbags are there in order to have some sort of then is the car equipped with certain type of restraint systems, anti-collision devices, and so on and so forth. So effectively, these factors are actually the different type of customers have different type of orientation. So they would like to compare whether Maruti Suzuki is going to give them better option, or so you see, if you're looking very carefully into the different type of brand segments which exactly are there, there are certain type of brands which are catering to specific segments of the market. If you're looking at a product like Desire, Maruti Desire, mostly you'll find it for the auto rental, the car rental segment. Because if you're looking at Toyota Etios, again that is for the rental segment. If you're looking for a brand which exactly, if you're looking at the SUV segment also, you will find that there are certain type of brands which are catering only to passenger cars. These basically are for rental segment. Like for example, if you're looking at this Toyota Innova, that is also for tourist segment. Mostly you'll find cars basically. So effectively, these are the cars for them. Then if you're looking at the sedan segment, or if you're looking at the small car segment, this is for people who are doing city driving. Like for example, if you're looking at a car like Alto, or if you're looking at a car like um, you have got this different variants. Basically, the small car segment, they basically are for people who are traveling with their family. It has got less amount of boot space, it has got more amount of feature per rich, and then economically, and they've got a very small turning radius, so that basically you can maneuver this car into small bylanes in the city per se, and so on and so forth. So technically, this is how different segments rate the different performance against a specific major competitor on the basis of the attributes and the benefit basis. And then you monitor the customer value over time. That is, you try to look at the value that the customer has over the different type of time frame. Now, we would be looking at two important aspects, which I've already discussed much in detail about the customer perceived value, that is choice process and delivering high customer value and giving loyalty. So effectively, how do you basically look into this perspective that is called as customer value, customer perceived value? How can you actually measure this customer perceived value? What exactly is the choice process that is involved? How exactly this high customer value is actually delivered, and how does this translate into customer loyalty? So we would be looking at this important aspect at this point of time. It's about 1:06 right now. I would give you about a 4-minute water break so that you can go and have some water, and because you get tired and you get physically drained when you're sitting for a long period of session. So I would like to have a small break at this point of time, wherein you can take a small break and then you can come back quick. You need not disconnect if you feel like, or if you wish, you can have a small chat with each other, or but keep it in the decorum so that we don't lose into it. Or you can leave and you can rejoin. That is up to you. The same link, I would keep the link on. You can do that, but you're going to take a small break, okay? Because then we can continue with another important another session which will be in. But then you'll have a small break so that you can refocus, rejoin, and we'll continue. Okay. In the meantime,
Okay, sir.
yeah, we are currently not with the class right now, so you can take a small break. Yeah. but add me along so that I'm giving you some amount of respite so that you can just relax and then you can reconnect. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay, let's resume. I think we can just resume with our session. I hope people have joined back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
get underway. We have this session till 2 p.m., right?
Yes, sir.
1:45.
1:30. 1:30.
Sir,
It's
1:45.
1:45.
1:40. Okay, I'll try to wind it up by 1:45. Okay, let us get underway. So technically, we basically are looking at something called as customer value and then how it translates into customer satisfaction, and then the loyalty per se. So very quickly, let us try to see that we might like to have different type of choice processes that we have, and these choice processes are associated with defining that what exactly is the basis for selecting a specific type of a product or not. And then we try to look for a high value, delivering high customer value. That is what exactly happens to be the most important thing, that the customer value we would like to deliver that. And basically, when we are trying to deliver high customer value, that will generate into creating some sort of loyalty for a specific customer. The customer would feel that if they are getting value for their money, so they would be very, very loyal to the organization or the brand or the product per se. So let us try to look at what exactly is the total customer satisfaction. That is, technically, a customer would have some sort of a pleasure, or a customer might feel disappointment as well, resulting in when we are comparing a product or a service perceived performance or outcome to the expectation. Now, you must have seen when you want to buy any sort of a product in any sort of these online websites, that is Amazon or Flipkart or Snapdeal or these different type of locations, you have got different type of comparisons for type of similar type of a product, and then you've got reviewed by the different type of customers, where basically they are trying to give their experiences in terms of their expectation and the benefits that they have obtained from the different type of products and services that they have purchased, and the value that they have translated out of this sort of a transaction. Also, you must have seen that there is a section which is called as unboxing. That is, how do you connect a product virtually and have a sort of a physical association with a product. Now, that sort of a thing is when there's an unboxing that is actually happening. So effectively, you are feeling a sense of ownership without owning a product or a service just by looking at that video. Now, that is basically a perceived performance or outcome to the expectation that you have, which exactly is what is the total customer value. Yes, I see a hand coming up. Kratika, you want to make a point?
So actually, yes, sir. So most of these campaigns are paid ones. So like these influencers are approached by various companies.
They basically, you cannot say that they are paid campaigns. Basically, they are consumers like you and me. When you buy a product, you can post a video on the net and you can give your reviews and you can give your ratings. So the company does not pay you for that. The company wants an honest feedback in terms of their opinion. Customer reviews I'm talking about. I'm not talking about influencers who basically have created different type of videos for their channels. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the experience of the customers who exactly have bought the product and they have used it and they have consumed it. Okay. So.
Okay, sir. So
thank
like
you.
before.
Thank you.
Also,
thank you. I'd like to continue. Now, basically, when you are trying to monitor the satisfaction, most companies are measuring how well they treat their customers. That is, they identify the factors shaping the satisfaction and changing operations and marketing as a result. Yes. क्लास चल रहा है, ये क्या है? क्लास चल रहा है यार अभी तो. Thank you. Sorry for that interjection. Some official I'm really sorry for that. But let us look at exactly, there's a company called as JD Power Satisfaction. Now, basically, they rate the different type of, they have different type of surveys where they try to see customers' losses, loss rate, how customer loss rate, how many customers have left the organization, what exactly is the mystery shopper, and things of that. They try to, and they give you JD Power, they give you a award that is which exactly is the JD Power awards are given in terms of the satisfaction ratings, is what they give in terms of the satisfaction and loyalty. Then we also are looking into product and service quality. That is quality in terms of the total features and characteristics of a product or service. That also bears on the mind as to satisfy the stated or implied needs of the customer that is there. Also conformance to quality versus performance quality and the impact of quality that exactly is there. Now, customer lifetime value. Maximizing customer lifetime value, that is in terms of customer profitability analysis. We will be doing something which is called the ABC, which is called as activity-based costing. That is for the different type of activity and the different type of cost benefit analysis is done. So basically this, let's say for example, this is a product. Then there are 4 products, P1, P2, P3 and P4. And there are three segment of customers. One is a high profit customer. Then there is a mixed bag customer, and then there's a losing customer. So how do we categorize whether which of them is a high profit customer, which of them is a mixed bag customer, and which of them is a losing customer? So we will just quickly try to see how exactly this sort of an analysis is happening. Now, this is highly profitable product, P1. P2 is a profitable product, P3 is an unprofitable, and P4 is a highly unprofitable product. So you see, customer P1 and highly profitable product, there's a plus sign that is over here. For P1, for the second customer, also there is a plus sign. And for the third customer, also there is a plus sign that has been attributed, which is a comparative rating between P1 and C1. Now, for the second product, which is a profitable product, a customer might buy because of this customer would buy P2, the first customer. So technically, with more number of these pluses, they would make it for this other sort of a customer would be categorized as a high profit customer. So let's say, for example, this may be a customer who's not only buying one product for his self-consumption, but might be a intermediary customer, like it could be a wholesaler, or it could be a sort of a retailer who's buying a product in order to make a new product or to sell a product to another market. So effectively, this sort of a customer is actually buying it in volumes. So this exactly is, he's buying multiple number of products. So he's going to buy high profitable products, and he's going to be buying profitable products only because he understands the value of the product and he's a high profit customer. So you've got to take care of him. So this could be also called as an OEM customer, original equipment manufacturer customer, or a institutional customer. Okay. Then we have got the second segment of customer who exactly is buying this product and then is buying this product. Now this is an unprofitable product, and then he's buying a profitable product as well. So this is a mixed bag customer. So he may have a specific feature liking for this sort of a product and this sort of a product. So one of them is a profitable and one of them is a unprofitable. So he is giving it a very wide portfolio of product he's catering, and he's a mixed bag customer. So he is going to be buying both of them. Now this customer, that is C3. Now this is a customer who has been earlier buying these products, P3 and P4, he was there. And then he has, in order to consolidate, he has started buying. So this sort of a customer may be losing. You may be losing this customer because he is buying unprofitable products, and these products are actually are not going to be sustained in the market because these are unprofitable. There are certain type of products which are not selling, and this person is buying this. So chances are that he might be migrating to another brand. So this is your valued customer, this is a mixed bag customer, and this is a customer whom you're going to be losing. So this sort of a customer product profitability analysis, so who is buying what, how profitable are different type of product offerings, and what exactly is the range of your customers. If you can do a cross analysis of these, you're going to come to know who exactly is the most valued customer, who's a mixed bag customer, and who's exactly a losing customer. So here you can decide upon a strategy. You can offer this product instead of this product to this customer, or you can discontinue this product from the line. So effectively, and then you can, this product need to be discontinued because this is very unprofitable, and you can flow back the resources that you have invested for this product for manufacturing P1 or P2, or you can outsource this product. So effectively, you have to do a product profitability analysis to understand the different type of your product values and also the different segment of the customers who are purchasing your products per se. And only then you can understand who exactly is doing what and which segment of your customer is there. Now, customer lifetime value, the net present value of stream of future profit expected over the customer's lifetime. So if I want to do a projection as to what exactly is going to be the different type of purchases made by this sort of a segment of customer over the entire period of his lifetime, then I can expect the stream of future profits that's going to come in over the customer's purchases. So how much amount of profit, if this customer is maintained, is going to give me over his lifetime. If I can do that, I can create a projection, and this projection is going to be very, very important. I think if you can just look up into the the book that I have given to you, you will find this table in your book, where basically you're talking about the customer product profitability analysis, as well as the this is a hypothetical example of illustrating the CLV calculations, that is customer lifetime value calculation. So you can this was Gupta and Lehman. They approached this calculation of customer lifetime value of customers over a 10-year period. This is given in table 5E in your book, the soft copy of the book that I have provided you. You can just go through it. You can just run through it to understand what we exactly mean by it, where basically we will be looking at the discounted rate as well as the retention rate. This is just an aspect just to understand what exactly it is. It has those of you who are interested, you can actually go through it. But basically, I wanted to give you that technically what it does is it reduces defection and customer churn. Now, you must have seen that telecom companies, they basically are very, very worried because they don't want to lose a customer to the next service provider. So if you are using Airtel, if you're using BSNL, or if you're using Vodafone, or if you're using any other mobile service provider, if you go to buy a new SIM, the price of the SIM is insignificant, but what happens is actually the price of a connection is very, very high. But how do they realize this price? They do not realize it upfront when you go to buy a SIM, but they decide to extract this through your lifetime. That is how long you are going to be associated with them. That is with the amount of recharges that you do over a period of, let's say, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 9 years. They have actually realized their price of the connection. But if you quickly migrate, or you do a mobile number portability, if you port from that number, then this is called as churn. That is, you exactly have defected. Now, this basically entire exercise is done in order to attract new customer and retain the existing customers, so that the customers don't leave the entire. Because if a customer leaves the service provider and goes to a next service provider, then basically all the investment that exactly was done in the initial part for this customer actually has gone down the drain. So the company loses. Now, that exactly is one of the reasons why you must have seen a major amount of shakeout that has happened in the telecom scenario. And now there are basically just 3-4 players that exactly have it. That has been there for many industries, like even for the airline industry, the low budget airline industry, also the same thing happened. So effectively, this is a very important aspect when it comes to attracting and retaining new customers. That is, you define and measure the retention rate. You distinguish and identify the attrition rate. That is how much amount of movement is taking place. And we compare the lost customer lifetime value to reducing defection rate. That is how much amount of defection, that is the lost customer lifetime value, and how much defection you can stop. You try to compare the two of them. And now this is basically how exactly it is done. Now, this is something about the retention dynamic and the marketing funnel. Again, for people who want to hear about the different levels of awareness. That is, first at the top level is the broad. At the left side, you can see the target market which is there. There's a huge market. Now, then on the basis of the different type of communication that exactly has happened to the target market, there is the awareness. How many people are aware? Now, this is a smaller segment of the target market. Then many people who are aware, how many of them are ready to try that product? They are basically open to trial. They want to actually try this product and see whether this product fits their prerequisite requirement or not. Then after they have tried this product, that is samplers, that is, I'm open to trying the brand but have not done so yet. So they're ready to try on the basis of the awareness. Now then they have got something called as the tire, that is non-rejectors. That is, I have tried the brand and would use again, but have not done so in the past 3 months. So they have already tried once, but they're not basically loyals as of now, but they would like to try or not, but they would try to. So this is people who are a sub-component of open to trial. Then recent users. So I have used once in past 3 months. So this basically is a sub-component of the triers. And then regular users. At least once every 2 months, 2 weeks, they're using the product. That is, I'm a regular user, but this is not my most often used brand. Then most often used brand. Then there is a segment within it which says that I'm the most often, that is, I use this brand very often, even though I do use other brands also. And then we've got the loyals, which is the smallest of the lot in the funnel, which says I always use this brand as long as it is available. So if you are going to draw a line parallel to the baseline, you will see that loyals are basically only 1/3 or half or even 1/4 of the target market. Now, this sort of a retention funnel can be basically, it is just an illustrative one, but then it can have a different slope for the funnel depending upon the type of products which exactly are there, and then what exactly is the orientation of the people to be loyal, which exactly happens to be a sub-component of the target market. So you got a very small segment which exactly is a pure brand loyal, but this exactly is there. So how do you attract and retain customers? That is, how do you manage the customer base? So the first thing that you need to do is that you need to look into 5 important dimensions. You need to do 5 important things in order to maintain and sustain your customers. That is important because if you do not maintain your customers, you are going to actually lose them. So I'm going to be giving you a very interesting story at this point of time. This is that basically 2 stories I'll be giving you in this context. First is Apple. Now, Apple, they encourage owners of its computers to form local Apple user groups. Okay, this was done in 2009. I'm telling you about a long time back. There were about 700. There were over 700, and ranging from fewer than 30 members to over 1,000 members. There were around 700 members at that time for the Apple groups. The lowest group was comprised of 30 members, and the highest group comprised of around 1,000 members. The group provided Apple owners with opportunities to learn more about their computers, share ideas, and get product discounts. So the sponsors special activities and events and perform community service. A visit to Apple's website will help a customer find a nearby user. So effectively what they decided was that long time back in 2009 only, they created different type of user groups. Communities was what was created by Apple in terms of the different type of users which exactly were there. So what they tried to do was they tried to bring together the type of people who are using their products, and then these users, they shared their feelings, their appreciation, their knowledge, their information, their ideas about the products, and also their feedback. And this is how Apple basically learned and got more about information about the products per se. And from that orientation, it decided to bring about changes in its products and services because of the interaction of these Apple users in terms of types of community interactions. So effectively, this is something very interesting aspect when it comes to creating institutional ties. Now I'm going to talking to you about another type of a product which is very close to. This is an Indian oil product. This is called as Extra Power. This is the fleet card program from Indian Oil Corporation Limited. This helps in strengthening the relationship with its loyal customers, which happens to be the high street market, that is the truck drivers. So Extra Power, the refueling of vehicles during long trip, represent a major difficulty to fleet owners. So fleet owners are those who have got a large number of trucks, and they basically are logistic and the transporters for the providing goods and services movement to the different parts of the country. So they exactly have large fleet number of trucks. Now they need to be fueled up. So this became a major difficulty for these fleet owners. So entrusting a huge amount of cash to vehicle driver creates safety and security issues. So if there's a truck which is going from, let's say, Aligarh to South India to Kerala, so it will be traversing something like approximately 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers. Now 3,000 kilometers means it's going to take a lot amount of oil which needs to be filled at regular intervals. Now definitely when these truck drivers are going to be going with these trucks, they're going to get it filled at different locations. So they need to carry a lot of cash with them. Now, when they are traveling, it is very dangerous to carry a lot of cash when they are moving into the different parts of the country. And somebody might understand that since this truck driver is moving from point A to point B, he definitely would be carrying a lot of cash because he's getting it refueled. So effectively, that can be creating a lot of hazard and dangerous for these truck drivers. So entrusting a large amount of cash to vehicle drivers creates safety and security problems. Now, petroleum majors in India have designed a fleet card program to address this issue and to reinforce their relationship with fleet owners. So Indian Oil program is called Extra Power, where is based on solution that provides prepaid and credit facility to fleet owners and companies. So they provide prepaid and credit facility to fleet owners. They are small card-based solutions that provide prepaid and credit facilities, enabling cashless purchase of fuel and lubricant from designated petrol retail outlets. The fleet owners, upon registration with the company, are issued vehicle-specific cards. Okay, each transaction is authorized through a unique personal identification number, that is a PIN number. Now, this feature is not only providing enhanced security, but also enabling the tracking of vehicles movement while refueling. Also, it helps in improving the route compliance and vehicle utilization. So basically, it is GPS located, and anytime wherever the truck is going at the designated movement in the direction, so the owner is going to know where my truck is at any point of time and where exactly it is going to get refueled and how much amount of fuel exactly is being added into the truck. So effectively, they can track the vehicle along with getting a cashless refueling option. Now, Extra Power offers personal accident insurance also, cover to added initiative. Now, in addition, fleet owners can redeem the reward points accumulated in the card and either in gifts from Extra Power catalog or for fuel and lubricants from Indian Oil. So effectively, what happens is that they're also giving certain points that every time you refill a certain amount of fuel, you're getting certain type of bonus points which are accumulated, and these points can be redeemed for certain type of gifts. It could be in the form of cashbacks or in the form of, let's say, more fuel that can be added, or lubricants, more fuel and lubricant that can be added to the trucks which exactly are using this program. This program is supported extensively by the retail coverage of Indian Oil and web-based solutions provided by the fleet owners. The design of the loyalty program not only adds value to the fleet owners, but also strengthens customer relationship with the company. So if there's a person who's using a fleet owner card, that is extra power fleet card, and then they call it as Shubh Yatra. Shubh Yatra with extra power fleet card. So if there's a fleet card which exactly is used to refuel, and if it's an IOL that is provided by the Indian Oil Corporation, IOCL, then definitely it is going to get refilled at only the IOCL petrol pumps. It's not going to get it at the Bharat petrol pump or the Reliance petrol pump or at the other petrol pump. So they're trying to basically create a sort of a loyalty perspective and a ownership in terms of the specific type of a brand. So this is how some sort of a connect is created. So this is how you try to manage your customer base. That is, you reduce customer defection to a different brand. You increase the customer longevity. That is, you keep your customer in for a longer period of time. Share of wallet and cross upselling. This exactly, that is you take care of the share of his wallet, and the cross selling is done away with. That is, they cannot buy another product because that you exactly are you have made them a sort of a loyal customer per se. You terminate hello.
So you're not audible.
Yes, so
Okay,
now
okay.
you're
I do understand there was a small glitch that happened. We've got even the university connection has some sort of a glitch that is happening, but sorry, I'll just repeat. So basically, when you're managing your customer base, you're reducing defection, you're increasing customer longevity, share of wallet, you're terminating the low profit customers. So customers who basically not only giving you they're giving you low profit, and they're a large base, so you have to make a steady investment even in those customers. So if you do away with those customers, you will at least save the cost that you have investing in those customers, and you will only focus on high profit customers. That's going to, so any sort of an investment that was done in low profit customers can be migrated to investments on high profit customers, and that is how you're going to bring in better amount of profit and do some sort of a cost cutting that can be there. And you create a dedicated team of loyal customer base. So how do you go about doing it? You try to interact closely with customers, so that you need to have a connect. Without a connect, it is not possible. You develop loyalty programs. I gave you the example of Apple and HP. That is, you create loyalty programs and you create an institutional ties. That is you create a sense of an association on a institution basis, and you basically are connected. Now, there are certain characteristics of connecting with not only large customers, but something called as a community sort of a consciousness, which is also created for certain type of the segments. Now, this exactly is called as a specialized, that is brand communities. Now, brand communities technically means a specialized community of consumers and employees whose identification of activities focuses around brand. Now, like for example, you must have seen Harley Davidson or the different Harley Davidson as a community. Now, this aspect of associating yourself with a community is something very, very unique. So it is more of a lifestyle. The type of consciousness that you develop, the type of connection that you develop to a brand, it's a sort of a community. The type of clothings that you wear, the type of face gear that you put in, the type of activities that you do, the type of connect that you establish. They say that it's Harley Davidson fans. They're basically very different orientation because they got a association. They try to associate on a different level, and that's the type of that is they associate themselves with their type of brands that basically they represent. So you see, you'll find them very different from the general. And they would basically be people who are there on the roads. They're a different type of a community association. Now, how did that come about? This is called as brand communities. So people who are associated with this sort of an orientation, the brand is created that level of association that any sort of an activity that is done, this is focused around the brand. That's the highest level of association that exactly has been created for this level of consumers per se. We would also be looking at a certain amount of value creation practice, that is social networking. I would told you community engagement, brand usage, and impression management. This is how a different type of associations exactly are created in terms of value creation practice, which we would be taking care of in the subsequent class when we will be discussing about these aspects. So a quick recap of what we have covered. We did cover some like customer, what exactly is the traditional organization and how exactly is the revised or the modern customer oriented organization, customer perceived value, then how exactly is the determinants of the customer perceived value, that is the difference between the benefits and the total customer cost. We also discussed about how exactly does building customer loyalty and satisfaction and loyalty comes about. We talked about customer satisfaction, loyalty, maximizing the customer lifetime value. I told you about that there are certain products that need to be harvested and the certain type of customers that have to be divested toward the losing customers. We talked about the lifetime value. Also, we talked about how to retain and attain new customers and to do away with churn, how to attract the retention dynamics and the marketing funnel we discussed about. Towards retaining customer, what is the best strategy that is incorporated towards managing the customer base? And then we talked about brand communities. So with this, we come to an end to this session. Two sessions wherein we discussed about and if you have any query or any question or any suggestion, I could see your hand. If you want to make a point, please feel free. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Sarma.
Yes, so actually we were studying about determinants of CPV. So you said that no two individual customers will have same perception about a particular product. So can it also be said that and if we study the behavior of an individual customer, then even that not have a similar perception about two different products?
Very rightly said. You see, a customer is actually an individual. Okay. And this individual is impacted, the behavior that is exhibited by this customer is impacted by different factors, the different environmental factors which we have addressed in our earlier classes. So one important aspect is the expectations and the perception and the type of satisfaction that they derive. So definitely has about any sort of a product at any point of time may change by the coming of a person. Okay, like let's say for example, people were very happy with the type of a purchase at any point of time. Let's take the case of a cell phone. You all must be having a cell phone, a specific type of a cell phone, but then you become with this product after a specific period of time. Now that we have got 5G technology coming in, most of you 3G or a 4G based phone would have been very satisfied with that brand or with that feature, purchase the product, are now probably at the point of time are looking for changing their cell phones. Now, different new launches in 2021 and 22, there's a floodgate of launches that is happening from the different online websites where you actually visit and see the different type of launches which is happening every month. Now, the reality is that the 5G services are not available in India in 2022 and probably might be there in 2020. The thing has not happened. So effectively, if you look at the type of perception that you have about a product and service for any sort of a customer can be there for any sort of a product and service at any point of time. It will keep changing. It's a very, very dynamic aspect, and the environment actually impacts, and that is what about, and that's what marketing is all about. But then, yes, we need to cluster who have a neutrality and who have a negativity. We need to address their concerns in order to match the products and services in line with their expectations. I hope I'm on.
Yes, sir. Also, sir, I have another question. Like
Okay.
another thought that I'm 1 second. So just give me. I'm sorry, sir. In my mind right now.
Okay, not a problem. Anybody else who'd like to make up?
Yeah. About the Cpv process, and there are a number of steps involved in that process. So basically, if I evaluate myself as a customer, then while forming a perception about a product, a number of steps are like ignored, or a number of steps are like not part of my process. They are eliminated while I'm forming a perception. But at the same time, yes, sir, that is what I was asking. That like it is a very lengthy process, but in actuality, I don't find it to be that lengthy.
Basically, it's you do not put it in paper and you try to do it. You know, you mentally do it. You basically develop a feeling about a different type of a product or a service depending upon the experience and the interaction that you've had, as well as a comparative analysis with the different type of a product. You don't really need to put it everything in black and white, but basically this is a cognitive sort of a experience that happens with every customer over a period of time, and that exactly is captured by these towards its lifetime value, customer perception value. Okay.
Right,
we
right.
basically do it unconsciously. We do it. Hope I'm answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else would like to have any sort of a doubt, query, or any sort of a suggestion? I think all of you pretty tired and hungry because we had an extended session today. I did try to incorporate with a small break, but anyway, we'll be back with our regular class 1 hour session in the next session. Okay, that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Let's
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
sir.
much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.